Hello, everybody, and welcome to Climate and Cuisine, the podcast of Climate Diet, a nonprofit devoted to creating awareness of what you eat, the impact on your own health, but also the impact on the climate, something we all need to worry about since the oceans are starting to take over the shores in many states, including Florida, where my co-host, Erin DeMarines, lives and sees the reality of it. Erin, we love that they named a hurricane after you just a few weeks ago. I
Hopefully, I
think,
didn't cause too much damage.
well, I'm thinking of it in the whirlwind way that, yeah, I kind of understand why you could have a hurricane named after you because you're kind of one yourself, I think, in a good way, of course, not with damage, but just with love. So just a few words about how proud I am of my daughter and my co-host. We do, besides the podcast, we also do Erin and Jane's Kitchen. Let me show the logo here on my fitting kitchen bib apron. And we produce plant-based recipes every single Friday. We distribute them by email. Just go to our website, www.climatediet.org, and sign up, and we'll send them to you free every single Friday. We like to send them on Friday because hopefully you have the weekend off and have a little more time to experiment with some delicious plant-based recipes.
We should make some of those together. That would be fun.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We make them. They are delicious recipes, and besides, uniquely what we do and add to it maybe a little more than anybody else putting out plant-based recipes. Which kudos to all of the people putting out plant-based recipes. We tell you how many greenhouse gas emissions you have saved by eating that plant-based recipe versus had it been made with dairy products or meat. So now I want to start quizzing my little daughter here, and we're calling this Our Origins podcast because I'm a vegan because of my daughter. And so, Erin, do you want to just talk about your origin story? How did you become a vegan? Because you were the one that taught Dad and I why we needed to do it and how helpful it was for us.
I mean, it's never a story I get bored of telling because it was such a light bulb moment that changed the trajectory of my life, my passion, my life's work, my passion projects, everything that I do. I can relate back to that moment of running with my triathlon coach 25, probably now close to 30 years ago. um, on the canal. And at that time, I was on a triathlon team, and he was our coach, and he was vegan, but he never told any of us. And we were just out for this really long, epic run, and he asked me what my complaint was about training. I said, I really don't have any. I love working out. I love training. I love all of it. I love racing. I said, but sometimes when I'm running, I sometimes can get congested. And I noticed on the longer runs that I would be almost like it would feel like I had a cold coming on. I was like, I didn't understand why I only felt that like on some of my, longer runs. And he said, well, you're probably lactose intolerant. I said, well, we're not big cheese eaters in our family. And he goes, but there is milk, dairy, it's in everything. He goes, you have to read the labels, you have to ask in a restaurant. And he started
Yeah.
talking me through this. And I was like, light bulb, right? Like, okay, so maybe I am getting in dairy in places I didn't think I am. Because I mean, if you read the labels now, there's milk in potato chips, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. And so I said, all right, well, maybe I'll try to, stay away from it a little bit. And he goes, I want you to go 3 days without dairy. And then on our next long run, let me know if you feel any different. And in those 3 days, the next time we went for a run, I felt so clear, and I felt this sense of like I could breathe easier, and I didn't feel that congestion when I was running. I was like, there's something here. So then we started talking, and he told me he was vegan, and he told me all the stuff he was eating, and it all sounded great. And I was like, I could definitely do this route. So anyway, I ended up going and studying after college to get my plant-based nutritional consultation certification and all these things. So I started studying how plant-based really affects and a vegan diet really affects our health. Where I love that you come at from this climate side, I started in this health side, and I think it's been such an awakening for our whole family. And I'm just so grateful that you and you and Dad adopted it too, and Julia, and it just, it's just an awesome way to live in so many different ways.
Well, and what you did, not withstanding your own learning, you made sure that we learned too. And we did have a health issue in the family that was very, very serious. And you remember it. It was quintuple bypass surgery from one of our family members. And you gave us, doctors did not say anything to us about not eating meat, but you gave us the China study by Colin Campbell. And
Yeah,
that changed. We read the book. We became vegan immediately. You didn't have to say a word, but that giving us the book was powerful information. And when you know the truth and understand it as you did, study it yourself, you hear about the damage and the cruelty to animals and how they're raised, and then the cruelty to the planet that we're all living on.
yeah.
So, so thank you for being the kind of daughter that wants your parents to have good health and to be aware. Um, and it gave me a new career. I
Yeah.
was
I
in
mean,
banking and housing, and now I'm in vegan business.
yeah, I mean, how cool is that? I mean, it's such the whole story. And I was on another podcast this week, and I was saying, it's a very synergistic the way this all sort of happened, but it's very much like a cohesive round, bubble that we created, right? You're coming up from the climate side. We had that health scare. It's been my life's journey. I'm such an advocate. You're such an advocate. It's really cool to have a family, unlike
Yes.
other families that I know are that are like constantly pushing the meat. It's like so nice to be able to just sort of exhale and be myself, and you understand how important veganism is. It's like I'm not getting a kickback from the vegan society. I'm saving the planet. I'm saving my health life. I'm saving you guys are healthier because let's just set it straight. Doctors have 4 hours of nutritional studies in all of their residency. 4 hours. So they basically learn the basics. They probably understand carbs, proteins, and fats. They probably don't understand what's really hidden in most of our food and what big agriculture is doing to our food and the soil. And, we could go down that path, but it's people like us that are just trying to make a difference for no selfish reason. We just want the planet to be here for, Zoe, my daughter, and your granddaughter. And the future of our planet it's just not something that we talk enough about. So I love what you're doing. I love that you have that passion for it as well.
Well, thank you, and thank you for sharing it with me. It's so much fun just to share it with you, especially since you're the reason that we went down this path at all. And just one note on the planet, someone just said to me today, actually, I talked to my sister and she says, well, the first state to go into the ocean is going to be Florida. I said, yeah, parts of it already are. And I mentioned the last hurricane, not Erin, but the one before it, where you had 5 friends either lose part of their house or their entire house, a lot of them in
Eight
uh,
friends, 8,
eight friends.
8 friends.
Very sad,
And
very
that
sad. In
was,
fact,
we're coming up on a year, and I still have a friend right now that I talked to today, and she's still, I mean, some of my friends have lost their houses and had to move, and their house is just still sitting there on the island, which is close to us.
Davis, is it Davis Island?
Yeah, their houses are still just
Wow,
completely,
1 year ago. What was the
yeah.
name of that hurricane?
Well, there was two back to back. Was that? I don't remember the names. It'll
Well,
come
that's
to me.
okay. Okay, well, there's some other really important questions I would love for you to talk about since you are a health coach and doctors have asked you to coach their patients and help them learn about nutrition and how to eat plant-based. Tell me what do you say to them and how do you go about it? Because when people are meat eaters, sometimes it's a shock to them to think about giving up meat. So I just wonder, what's your technique in trying to help people go toward plant-based?
I mean, I'm all about nutrition science, right? So when I'm talking to a patient, especially like a cancer patient, I try to get them to understand that the most powerful tool that they can use on their own besides getting a prescription from a doctor, is the food that they eat. And it doesn't always come through very easily to them. They are just a generation, a lot of them, used to getting the band-aid. Like, what drug can you give me to fix me? I'm not going to
Yeah.
fix my diet, but you just give me the drugs. Let me deal with insurance. And it's like, I try to get them to understand a lot of the tools are right there in your own toolbox in your refrigerator. And we talk a lot about what, because like when you get a chicken breast at the grocery store or a burger at the grocery store or some kind of meat or turkey, like the normal things that most people are getting, like those meat protein sources, they don't have a label on there that says all the things that are actually in it because the FDA does not
Yeah.
require that if it's a lower percentage less than whatever it is. It's very minute, but it is a long list. And other countries are now requiring it, which is great. Um, but of course, we're never going to do that because we know the follow the money, right? So anyway,
There's a lot of meat money,
yes,
and connected to people on advisory committees with our U.S. Department of Agriculture. And just to your point about people just kind of wanting the Band-Aid, I'm in that generation, and friends that have serious health problems, they I would love to tell them, if you would change your diet, you wouldn't be taking all those medications. And some of them say, in this generation too, people will start conversations that say, well, what drugs are you on? And I'll say, well, I don't take anything. And
right,
they go, what?
right,
It's like, I don't take anything. And everyone has two forms of health insurance. And they say, aren't you on Medicare? I said, no, I have the same private insurance I had when I worked, and I don't need another one. For what? I'm
right. You're
so,
healthy.
yeah, I don't know. And they just see as I'm as an oddball. But if you eat plant-based food, it cures so many ills. And of course, many new doctors are coming on board with this. And we have the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, a national group led by Dr. Neil Bernard, and he promotes this, and his nutritionists that are part of his network are promoting across the country. But um, there's a lot of work still to be done. So there are doctors, that are promoting it for sure. Um, and we just need more of them. But we need that public awareness factor. So that's why we do a lot here at Climate Diet with podcasts and newsletters. We've started a second newsletter that we put out every Wednesday. And the recipes, I think when you show them, and like when you do your cooking shows, well, why don't you talk a moment about the cooking shows that you do for Bloom TV? I don't know if those are all in Tampa, but Bloom TV is a big network.
Yeah.
And
Well, back to your original question about talking to the patients. Every patient is very different, but the pillars that we all should think about and follow in our own health journey should be: are we getting the right kind of sleep? Do we have a good sleep hygiene set up? Because that's really important. That's when our body is healing. Um, are we walking throughout our day? Are we hydrated? Do we have a sense of community? Do we have something other than work that occupies our life that maybe brings us joy after work? And then the most important thing is the nutrition. And I try to get people to think outside of chicken, fish, steak, and turkey and lean more into lentils and beans and things along, like like what the blue zones are, right? Like those diets, people that live the longest in the world, for those of you who don't know what the blue zones are, it's Loma Linda, California. It's in Sardinia, in Greece, somewhere in Greece, and I think somewhere in Asia. And all of these areas, the common denominator for these people who live into their hundreds or up to 100 at least is the centenarians is beans. That is what is the common denominator across their diet. They maybe will have an occasional glass of wine. They barely ever eat any dairy. They're eating from the earth. They're eating things that grow out of the ground. They're not eating anything that really comes out of a box or a bag, right?
yeah,
You're just eating a whole food plant-based diet. And these people are proven to live the longest. And it's like, well, if you know that, why would you not emulate? What's the word?
Emulate. Yeah. And
Emulate.
well, in the China study, I mean, that's the whole thing with the
Yeah,
China study. Those were the healthiest people in the world, and why that cardiologist went there and had to study them. And then when he treated his patients, and he had serious people that were had heart attacks, all his patients, he said once they started a plant-based diet and stuck with it, they never had another heart condition again, according to
right.
him and the book. So
And that is the key is the consistency of that, right? It's not a diet, right? It is your life's work of your own body. Like take care of your own self. Like take control of your own health and try to get as many people to also do that because you know how good you feel. Like I always tell people like I wish I could bottle how I feel every day and sell it. I would be a gazillionaire because I see people my age and I'm just like you're my age, like in my daily life, I'm like I feel 20 years younger.
well, you're not allowed to say your age because
No, we're not
I don't want
talking
people to
age.
know my age.
No, 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 no. But just, the energy level and all the things that go along with that. And it's like I try to get my health patients to understand that, like take it in. And exercise is just is so important. You got to move every day because a body in motion stays in motion, right? You got to move every day,
Yeah,
whether it be
this is
5 minutes or an hour.
so this is great advice. So do you want to talk a little bit? And again, I'm so proud of you for creating this company, Good Mood Foods. I do notice you're wearing your logo there. And they're nutritious plant-based snacks. Love them. And I think we could have a recipe, maybe making an ice cream sundae and sprinkling some on top. They're so good and so good for you. But how hard was it for you, to tackle something that big when I think you were already doing your health coaching and other things, and you're also a mom to the beautiful Zoe, um, and have a husband, Pete, so you have lots of family responsibilities. Just how hard was it starting that, and how did you do it?
I mean, you probably ask a lot of moms that are like in my same shoes that have families and jobs and um, you just get really good at like compartmentalizing a lot of things and like looking at your day every day and like, okay, I can squeeze this in here. It is a lot and it is very stressful, but it's also such a high, to like walk into a new account every day and see somebody eating it and talking. I just came from a meeting and I ran into somebody in the hospitality world and she's putting me in some more hotels and it's like you created something on your stove and then like you see it in a store or in a hotel or in an arena where the Lightning play here in Tampa and you just think, I did that. Like I don't know how many people in the world can say that. Like what percentage? It's probably very small. But if that's where I end up, like if I don't, you know, make it any bigger than I am right now, I still did that, right? Like I still am like, all right, that's impressive. And it's been an awesome journey with a lot of tears and a lot of stress, but
Well,
at
I
the same
remember when you
time,
talk about the stove and when you started your predecessor to this, the vegan energy bar, and cooked them on our stove when you lived in Washington with us for a while. It was they were great, but the house smelled like your energy bars day in and day out, pretty much, I think.
oh yeah, there was about almost a decade that I made them before they got into a factory. Yeah,
Yeah. Was it
yeah.
that long?
But I
Yeah.
mean,
I
isn't
mean, you
that
really, you really did it all. But I think that process, creating those recipes and cooking it and knowing what made it better or made it a little bit better or what made it maybe too sweet or um, all that experimentation and doing it on your own, I know was a huge teaching experience. Also, that you didn't want to be spending your time doing that forever.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
So,
this is like this is so I had the energy bar and now they're bites. And this is to me my proudest product because it lands exactly where I am, right? Like you can read every ingredient. It's 100% organic. It's got all the good proteins for you. There's no GMOs. There's no soy. There's no gluten. You know, everything. It's very a clean product. And to me, that's where I am in my life right now too. It's like as much whole food, plant-based I can eat, and really focus in on like every ingredient. It's like these mean something to me, and this is what I snack on all the time. And I found like when I had the energy bar, it was like I'd eat a half a bar, quarter of a bar, and there was all these little pieces left over. And I feel like this is what I was meant to produce, and I'm the most proud of this one out of all the products. But I had to go through all those products to get to here, right? So
It's all
here
an
I am.
evolution. So maybe the last thing that you didn't quite answer this is anything you'd like to share about the Bloom cooking shows? I think I asked you two questions at once. Is there anything about them where people can tune in? I'm not sure if they're shown nationally because Bloom does have a national audience,
I
or
mean,
if it's
Bloom TV is, you know, like our a local segment here, but
uh,
you can go online to Bloom TV and you can, you know, plug in my name and you can see all the shows I've done. It's about once every couple months that I do them. They're not quite as frequent as they used to be, but I think it's picking back up. I'm back on, I don't know when this will air, but I'm back on September 18th. So I'm coming up trying to come up with some really good recipes now for the fall and something kind of fun. So I'm trying to figure that out. But yeah, I love it. I mean, it's a great way, you know, to again tell people how good
they
plant-based
love
eating
the cooking
is.
shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
they love. Well, when we've done conferences together, people always want you to do the cooking show part of it, and I totally enjoy it, and people love seeing and learn. People watch it and learn, and it feels more interactive because you ask questions and that kind of thing. Not that people answer, but so I'm turning the mic over to you, Erin, and
Well,
it's your
yeah,
turn.
tell me your I mean, since we love to talk about food all the time, what what's been some of your most favorite meals that you've done lately in the plant-based world? Some of the recipes you've tried.
So we just tried, Dad and I just made, actually I made them, but I think he found the recipe. He's very good about researching. And these were zucchini boats filled with chickpeas, red peppers. You could have made them with quinoa, but I like the idea of the chickpeas better. I thought there was more protein, even though I know quinoa does have protein. Feta cheese. We used, of course, vegan feta cheese. And I'm trying to remember, there might have been corn. Some, I think corn was in that too. And so you uh, cleaned out the inside of the seeds of the zucchini, and I use zucchini and yellow squash, and you cut them in half and cleaned them, baked them, a little olive oil on that, baked it in the oven for I think 20 minutes till it was soft. You could put them in the microwave probably, but I baked them in the oven. And then you had the filling ready, the chickpeas, chopped up red pepper, um, corn, feta, and that there was a little bit of dressing in there, kind of like a Italian, but I don't have it memorized. But they were delicious. And then you baked it with filling for another 20 minutes. They were
Oh, that sounds
absolutely
good.
delicious. Yeah, very filling too. And that was delicious. And another one we just make all the time. Uh, we just make vegan chili. It's so easy. I mean, I can make it in my sleep, frankly. But, vegan beans. We don't use chickpeas and chili, but we use like black beans. And I buy the seasoned black beans to give it a little extra boost. But the recipe we use has vegan uh, broth in it, so not so much tomato. It has such a great flavor.
Ooh, that sounds
Uh,
good.
yeah, the vegan broth added to it makes it a really different kind of recipe, but it's the beans, corn, celery, onions, green pepper, or red pepper or both. Uh, yeah, so that's a good one. We love lentil soup with potatoes. So a lot of them are just old standards. My mom made these things. They weren't vegan, but we'll put vegan sausage in with our chili, making it even richer.
Awesome.
But
I
those
want
are
to
the
make
things,
the, I want to make the, what did you call, um, from grandma, your mom, the,
pierogies.
nope, not the pierogies, the cabbage, and then inside
Oh,
was,
oh, stuffed cabbage leaves. I made those just about 2 months ago. They were so delicious.
are they
So I
called
stuffed
halupkis?
halupkis.
Halupkis,
Yeah,
because cabbage is
they're
so good for you.
love cabbage, so sweet.
Yeah.
So those, to tell our audience, those have rice, and you don't cook it quite the whole way. You cook it half or two-thirds, about halfway, and vegan meat. You can use vegan sausage or the vegan beef, and some chopped up onions in with that. And you should saute those a little bit before you put them in the shells. But it's really pretty simple. And I think fresh parsley is definitely good in there, a little salt, pepper, not much seasoning. But then after we roll them, and you cook the cabbage so that it's kind of half cooked, and you have to put the whole head in with the top up, and you boil it in water until the leaves, you can see that they're cooked at least halfway. And then you cut them off around the edge of the stem and lay them down and put a couple tablespoons of the filling and roll them up like a little pillow. And then put them in a pot and then put tomato sauce over the top. That's the Italian one.
Yum. So let's divert a little bit and tell me, what's your proudest moment of what you've been doing for the last, what are you in this for 3 years now?
Four
Climate
and a half,
diet?
4.5. Yeah.
Wow.
I have to say, the thing that I feel the best about is, I feel like it's the next generation that's going to make the difference and that they need to know. And so you got to start in the schools. And I created the program called Power of Food for students. We have a curriculum for teachers so that it can be kind of handed off. And we got a grant from Montgomery County, and um, it was a decent size to start. And we're located in Montgomery County. And of course, that's where you grew up and went to school. So we have a lot of good schools in the county. And we try to go to schools that have a very diverse population where maybe they don't have as much awareness. Some of those schools may have even food deserts near them. And so they need possibly, more help. And we've been going to STEM events. Now they're calling them STEAM because they've added uh, arts to it, but science, technology, arts, music, and what's the S for? Now I'm forgetting. Science.
Science.
No,
Yeah.
it starts with science. STEM. Oh, M. Music. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, and we had in our county something I think that was the first, maybe in the country, but big, certainly big here, a youth climate summit. And I
Oh,
was invited to
cool.
speak, and we give out vegan energy bars. And our new chairman from Plantburger, businessman Jonah Goldman, he has about 13 restaurants, 13 or 17, a lot in the metro area where he lives, and some further in the East Coast, New Jersey and New York. But they're wholesome kind of fast food for plant-based eaters, and the plant burgers are great. So he gave us a whole stash of coupons so we gave them out to the students and said, go get a free plant burger. And what was surprising is at that summit, there were a lot of students who already said, oh yeah, we go there. So I was
Oh, that's awesome.
encouraged. But I
I'm
would
actually,
say
I'm
that's
talking to Jonah tomorrow.
oh, great. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's fantastic. So
that's
yeah, that's my
awesome.
proudest moment, is being able to get in the schools and being funded by my own county. If people at home like you, I think that says something. If
Yeah.
you can get your local people to like you, that I think that's a really good place to start. And I feel good about getting into these STEAM events And we even had an elementary school call us and want us to speak. So we did their STEAM event in June. So it's good to see those spread. And our next idea is to try to get into the green clubs in high schools and let the students, let the students do something themselves.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, the future generations, it's going to be up to them. It's like you can only, what's that old saying? You can lead the horse to the cart, right? So it's like you got to plant those seeds and, you got to push that information out and hopefully people will listen because you are an advocate and you are passionate about what you're doing. And I think that goes a long way because we only have one earth, right? And if
Yeah,
what we eat, what is on our plate is so important, which should be something that we are talking about on a daily basis, right? Like you can make a difference. Some people
and
I
I
think
think
are
what
just like, oh well, that's what everybody else is doing. But it's like, no, that's a scapegoat. That's an easy way out. Make a
I
difference.
would like to get into the classroom a little bit and help create it, let the students work with you and create a cookbook, especially many cultures already eat more healthy than the US population, typical, you know, um, for example, Colin Powell or Colin Campbell in his book, The China Study, they were eating healthy because they ate barely any meat and it was almost all plant-based and healthy. And Mexican food, a lot of that is beans and rice are so healthy for you. And we love dishes with beans and rice. So I think there's cultural parts of this that can tie in. The other thing that you mentioned though about the climate, there is research showing that the highest level of anxiety among the younger, I think this is between 18 to 35-year-olds, is about the climate. So talking about the climate is also becoming more important, I think, to the younger generation. They're seeing how hot it's getting and all these records being hit every year after year. So
That's awesome. Isn't it cool that you're making a difference? I mean, I'm very proud of what you're doing and that you saw that there was a need for this. I remember when you told me, like, you read something in the newspaper and you were like, it was so small. And you were like, wait, the climate is affected by what we're eating, and that's sort of how you started all this. And
that's
that was
right.
your light bulb moment.
Right. Yeah, it was. It was like I was already a vegan like 18 years. And it was like, how come I never heard of this? Because my background has been working with the media. So I'm a junkie when it comes to news and reading because you need to when you're in working with the media. You have to know what's going on and what they cover in Washington, D.C. too. We create a lot of news in this city. So um yeah, so couldn't believe I didn't know about it. I think the Rockefeller Foundation actually funded this study, and it was in a report. And I think they funded some since then as well. But yeah, it was a total shock. And once I found out that no one else was even working on this issue, I said, well, I'm going to do it.
I mean, that's to me, that's amazing. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you for your direction and your passion and your, your North Star, and to not give up and to be able to do something that is, is definitely worthwhile for the future generations. I mean, it's important work, and I love that you're doing it because somebody
Well,
needs
thank,
to.
well, thank you. And thank you for being a partner with us because you taught me a lot. And I continue to learn from you for sure. And I don't know if you have any last thoughts, but this has been just a great conversation with you, and we've been wanting to do it because people do ask me, what are you doing with your daughter?" Says that you're doing all these things with your daughter because we at first, we didn't have this podcast and we didn't have the recipes at first, so we've grown together in a new way. So
Yeah,
it's just
and
a thrill.
I hope that we continue to do that and maybe come up with some more, cross marketing ideas, not for anything other than to, help other people understand compassion for the planet and taking your health into your own hands. I love that we come from it from two different angles, but the common denominator is, like doing the right thing for our bodies and the planet that we all share, right? I mean,
I think there's more to be done on the clean eating side, and maybe people seem to understand that, and it doesn't talk about not eating meat. It just talks about sort of the benefits clean eating, and I think that term is getting more accepted. So I talking about a webinar, and we can do this offline, but in early October, and so let's do some planning there and
and
get
maybe
all our
some cooking.
yeah, that would be fantastic to have a cooking element as part of it. People love the cooking, as you know.
Yeah, because I mean, food is a celebration, and who doesn't love to talk about food? I mean, it's all I ever do is talk about food and peruse every menu, and
Yeah, it's so much fun and it makes everybody happy. Let's face it, we're all doing it 3 times a day, right? Or if not more. I'm not counting my TV time there.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, this is so fun, Mom. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we're going to sign off here. This has been Erin DeMarines and Jane DeMarines, Climate and Cuisine, and you'll see how to get the podcast. It'll be on most of Spotify and all the podcast sites in a few days. And we thank you for tuning into us, and we wish you happy eating and clean eating as well. Bye,
Yes.
everybody.
And if you want to try some of the bites, go to thegoodmoodfoods.com. And you can follow me on Instagram at thegoodmoodfoods.com or Erin DeMarinis, and I will be available for any questions you have or if you want to buy some of the bites.
Absolutely. That is all terrific. So proud of you. Take care. Bye bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Love you,
And thanks
Mom.
for joining us.